Oi, did you finish the ironing?
Why?
Because I'm hungry.
Hello children all over. Welcome to Watch with Mother. This is our storybook. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Once upon the dawn of time there was a nudist called Adam who ran a garden centre in Eden near St Ives. Or was it the Euphrates? You choose. There were fig bushes, terracotta pots, trees of knowledge, and a serpentarium for Monty, the talking snake. Adam had a floating rib and voices in his head. He was well weird. Then one day a voice said, "From the member which is hid, make a lady from your rib." So Adam peeked behind his member, found a juicy spare rib, and using his tool made a lady nudist called Eve. Now, one day Adam and Eve were so hungry they went hunter-gathering. But there were signs everywhere. Keep off the grass, hands off the trees. Who is Bill Stickers? And coiled round the tree was Monty the serpent. Psst, he hissed. Do you want to taste this cox? No, that's forbidden, said Adam. It's only an apple, said Eve. I'd much prefer a fig, said Adam. Don't spoil the story, hissed Monty. Eat, for God's sakes. So Eve plucked the apple, Adam took a bite, and before you could say flap, my fig leaf, they sprouted dangly bits. Hold up. If Eve hadn't flaunted her pippin and Adam hadn't masticated, would we still be running around strip bollock naked? That was so rude. Anyway, before you could say Flash Gordon, there was an almighty bang and our two rude nudes and that fool Monty found themselves sprawled on the gravel drive outside the garden and the gates were locked. Jesus Christ, said Adam, what was all that about? Eve, Monty hissed. All about Eve. And Adam was afraid. Very afraid. So he blew his top and Eve was blamed for everything, including his wrath, envy, greed, gluttony, sloth, lust, pride and global warming. Now, this raises some very interesting questions. Was Eve the mother of all manipulation? Did Adam have shit for brains? How did Monty get into the garden? Why did Yahweh open his big mouth about his hotshot tree in the first place? If you don't know the answer to any of these questions, go find a rabbi. Now, a lot longer later in the Middle of Ages, Christine de Pizan could not get her hands on her dead husband's estate, so she wrote 300 ballads, all in Middle French, which was a difficult language even in them days. She stood back to back with Joan of the Arc, with Joan riving at the roast beef with her rapier, while Chris mithered the misogynist with her Mont Blanc. And if you don't know what a misogynist is, ask a parent, guardian or carer to draw you a picture of Jeremy Clarkson. Now, the Middle of Ages turned into the darkest of ages, which became the Ages of Lightning, followed by the Reasonable Age, which all ended up in Victoria's Secret time, and ladies still had women's problems. But then, much nearer now, in 1850 times, an American of the female gender called Elizabeth Smith Miller said, "Skirts are pants," and made herself a pair of bloomers because she liked to bend over in the garden. Then, nearer now than then, King George V went racing to Epsom. Emily Wilding Davison was there too and shouted to the big knobs, "Can I have the vote, please? For like Emily Pancake, I am a woman with a brain, just like a man's, but without the dangly bits." But no man heard her, so she fell under the V's horse and died, which was jolly fortunate because voting became female too. Do you think those big knobs couldn't hear her children, or do you think they just weren't listening? You choose. However, thems of the male gender didn't want thems of the female gender doing male gendery things. They wanted them down on their knees polishing the lino. Then all of a sudden, much nearer now than then, Gregory Pincus gave birth to the pill, and all hell let loose. All those lino polishers started popping Pincus's pills, and nobody knew who was coming next. Hurrah! They cried. Now we can have sexual healing if we so choose. Then Germaine Greer Garson wrote a book called The Female Warlock, and suddenly everyone was wearing dungarees and growing hairy armpits. We shall declare ourselves feminax, they declared, and instead of polishing the glass ceiling with our petticoats for nothing, we'll smack it and we'll thwack it and we'll hack it till we crack it, and we'll climb out of our ghettos on our wedges and stilettos. We'll earn ourselves some wages, we'll write on history's pages, equality is paramount, we want our own bank account, we'll breach the unbreachable and dream the
All right, calm down. Don't push it.
Soon, feminaxes were springing up all over the place, from Greenham Common to Gobbler's Knob, and men got afraid, very afraid, just like Adam done before them. So those patronising patriarchs insisted that it was a man's world and that moany, mumsy matriarchs were better off at home kneading the children and raising the bread. Otherwise there would be another outbreak of wrath, envy, greed, gluttony, sloth, pride and global warming, not to mention lust. However, a woman might join the ranks of the man's world if she were able to sprout the correct set of dangly bits. And this became true when they discovered the world-famous feminax, Marjorie Snatcher. Now, if all this talk of female emancipation is a little beyond you and you are confused by gender politics, you know what you can do. So, were those man-hating, bra-burning, frumpy, liberated feminaxes really responsible for all the shit in the world? Or were they defending equal political, economic and social rights in education and employment for women? That's a very long, good question, and one that deserves an answer, which we'll read about next time, if I choose. Why did Monty put the cat amongst the pigeons and upset the apple cart and divide and rule? Was it because he took pleasure in rocking Jehovah's boat? Or was he just simply a male chauvinist bastard? Oh, hark at me! Now I'm being a natrix, or maybe a misandrist. Look it up. Bye-bye, children everywhere.
Getting a bit strident, are you? In your old age?